If you are making a mistake, it means that you're trying something. Dear students, I welcome all of you to my first session on the chapter number 3. So that is working with functions. It's very, very important chapter for all of you, my dear students. So we have only 14 more chapters to go. So let us understand what exactly we have in functions. So what is that I will discuss in this functions? So let me start with the introduction. Then after that, let us understand how exactly we are dealing with functions and what is the syntax to define any functions is what I will be discussing, and the flow of execution in a function. If I have a lot of statements, how exactly the statements are getting executed is what I will explain in this topic. And then how do we pass the parameters inside the function and how many different types of parameters we have is what I will discuss with respect to passing the parameters. And next, how do we return the values? So how many times I can return the values and different ways that I can return the values is what I will discuss with returning values from functions. And then what is composition, and very important one, that is scope of variables is what I will discuss in this chapter. The last one is mutable and immutable properties of passed data object. So this is what I will be discussing in this chapter, dear students. Let's start with the first one. So we have the introduction. Before I go to this particular part, let me give you a small example to all of you. Imagine I have a bike. So in that bike, if the horn is not working, I will not check the seat. Why the horn is not working? So I will directly go to the horn and then I will just check the horn and the related parts to the horn. In the same way, if the light is not working, I will not check the kicker. Okay, why the light is not working? Directly I will go to the headlight and I will check. So what is the wrong in the headlight? So in the same way, bike is a program, horn is a sub part of the bike, and headlight is a sub part of the bike. Since I have different sub parts for the bike, please understand, since I have different sub part of the bike, so it is easy for me to rectify if there is any problem. So in the same way, so like how I have the bike, in the same way I have the program. So in the same way I have the sub programs in the program, like how I have sub parts in the bike. So why do I have sub programs? Why do I have sub parts? Dear students, please understand the example. If I have sub programs, it is easy for me to diagnose where exactly the error is. So it is easy for me to maintain. So that is why I have the concept of sub programs. If I have sub programs, then what do I call it as? That sub programs is what I will call it as a functions, dear students. The main program is getting divided into sub programs and I will call that as a function. So what is function then? The function is nothing but it is a set of statements which performs one particular task is what I will call it as a function. So by the end of computation, it will return some value to all of you. So that is the role of function, my dear students. And you can call that function anywhere in the program n number of times by the function call is what I would like to tell you for all of you with respect to the functions, dear students. So what is the first one that I have? Function is a sub program that acts on the data and often returns the value. So I will pass some of the data as a parameters. So if I pass the value or if I pass the data, my dear students, it will process the data and it will give you the result is what they are trying to explain with the first statement. So what is the next one that I have? The larger programs are broken down into smaller units. That is what I gave the example in the beginning. So my program is very big. Suppose if there is any errors in the program, I cannot keep debugging the entire program. So for that reason, so I will divide the programs into sub programs with respect to the functionalities. Suppose if there is any error, so directly I'll go to that particular part. I will not check the entire program. So that is what they are trying to explain in this point. So please understand the third point, a function is named unit of a group of programs. Please understand, a function is a named unit of a group of programs. So the statement which can be invoked from the part of the program. So that is what they are trying to explain. What is that? So please understand, I have some set of statements. I have some set of statement. For that set of statements, they are trying to give one name. So that is what they will call it as a function name. So from the any part of the program, they can call that particular function. So that is what you need to understand. I have the group of statements. For that group of statement, I have given the name. So anywhere in your program, you can call that particular function is what they are trying to explain in this point, my dear students. So this is the basic knowledge that you should have with respect to the functions. Let's start with the next topic. So this is the anatomy of function. My dear students, you need to understand this very carefully. So dear students, all of you observe this diagram what I have given for all of you. So if you understand this slide, that is more than enough with respect to the functions. You will get the complete knowledge with respect to the function. Let me start. The first thing that I should know, so please observe that I have something like this. What is that? First thing that I have DEF. So this DEF is a keyword. This DEF is a keyword. So this keyword DEF, in the sense I am calling it as a define. I am calling it as a define. So what is that I am trying to define? I am trying to define a function. So what is the next one that I have, dear students? What is the next one that I have? That is the name of the function. So after that keyword, that is DEF, what is the next one that I will have? I will have the name of the function followed by the name of the function. So within the parameters, whatever I have, so that is what I will call it as a arguments. That is what I will call it as a arguments. If you have any arguments, if you want to pass any arguments, you should pass within this parameters. You should pass within this parenthesis. That is what you need to understand. So I will repeat. So what is the first thing that you should have? You should have the keyword. What is the keyword that you should have? DEF, in the sense it is defined. You are trying to define a function. So after this keyword, you will give the name for the function. Whenever you are giving a name for the function, make sure that you will follow the identifier rules which we have already discussed. So followed by the name of the function, dear students, I will have the arguments. I will have the arguments. Please observe, I have given the colon here. Please observe, I have given the colon. What is the meaning of colon? Suppose if I end the statement with colon, you need to understand that after this colon, I have some set of statements which belongs to one particular block. Which belongs to one particular block. That is what you need to understand. If I have the colon at the end of the statement, then after that I have some set of statements. I will have some set of statements which belongs to one particular block. That is what you need to understand. So my dear students, then after that I have some set of statements. So this set of statements is what I will call it as a body of the function. Body of the function. So all the statements will belongs to this particular function. So you need to observe one more thing. So I am starting the second line after one tab space. After one tab space. So all the statements, which are all the statements that I have after one tab space, all those statements belongs to this particular function. All those statements belongs to this particular function. So that statement I will call it as a body of the function. So you need to understand one more thing. Please observe, I have two more statements. What is this I have? I have two more statements. Observe the indentation. Observe the indentation. I'm starting this line after one tab space. So all these things belongs to this function. But I'm not starting these lines after a tab space. Instead of that, I'm starting it from the beginning of the line. So it means to say that these two lines does not belongs to this block. These two statements does not belongs to this block. So if you have studied C programming or C++, you would have gone through a flower brackets. Why do we use flower brackets? To indicate a block of statements. So instead of flower brackets, we are just using the indentation in Python programming language. So that is what you need to understand. So these two statements does not belongs to this function. Suppose if I give one tab space, so what will happen? So even these two statements will come under this block. These two statements also belongs to this particular function. So that is the reason I don't want these two statements in this function. So I am taking it back. So I am starting it from the beginning of the line. So that's why. So I am treating this two statements as a separate statements which does not belongs to this function is what you need to understand. Hope you have got the fair idea with respect to the skeleton anatomy of the function. So please observe, I have defined the function. This is what I will call it as a definition of the function. You are trying to define what exactly this function is trying to do. But my dear students, Where do you call? How do you call? What is the syntax to call this function? Please observe. Here, what is that I'm trying to do? I'm just trying to read a value from the user and I'm trying to store that in a variable called a. So after that, please observe I'm using the print statement. Inside that, calc something. What is this calc something? So guys, that is the name of my function. And then within the parenthesis, I'm passing this a. So what is this a? Whatever the value that user has entered, so that I have stored it in the a. So that is what I'm trying to pass. So guys, this statement is what I will call it as a function call. This statement I will call it as a function call. Here exactly I am calling this function. In this position I am trying to call this function. So in this position these statements are getting executed. So what is this a? The a value will be passed to x. So that x value will be calculated and that r will be returned to all of you. So right now please don't worry about all these things. You just have to understand the different parts of the function. So hope you understood the different parts of the function. I will quickly give you the recap. So what is the first thing that you should remember? So if you want to define your own function, you should start with the keyword def, followed by you should give the name for that function, and after that if at all you want any arguments for that particular function, you will mention it within the parenthesis, then followed by you will end the statement with the colon, then after that one tab space you have to give, then so you will give all your statements whatever you want inside the function. So then after that you will end with a return statement, then after that so you will have your normal statements whatever you wanted to have in your program. That is what we call it as a top level statements. So guys, this is the skeleton of the or anatomy of the function, and also you will have the function call statement. This is the brief idea that you should have with respect to the functions, my dear students. Let's start and understand more about this. Let us understand how do we call the function, how do we invoke the function, what are the different ways that we have to invoke a function. Let us start with the first one, passing the literal as a argument inside the function call. Passing the literal as a argument inside the function call. Let us imagine I have taken a cube as an example here. Let me just write a simple function for all of you in the name of cube. So what is the keyword that I should use if I want to write a function? So first thing that I have to write with, I have to start with def. So then after that followed by what is the name of the function? I should have cube. The name of the function should be cube. Then followed by, so I should have one parameter. Let us imagine I have one parameter. Okay. Then after that I should have the colon. Then let me just write return a into a. Okay, so this is what I had. This is my program. Let us imagine this is my function. So dear students, please observe, this is not my cup of tea now. So here concentrate. If I want to call this function, if I want to invoke this function, how many ways I can invoke this function is what we are trying to understand. So guys, this is the first way. So what is the first one that I have? I'm directly passing the literal. I'm directly passing the literal. This is the first way that I can call my function. What is the first way? So I have the function name. Inside that function name, I have to pass one argument. I have to pass one argument. What is that I'm passing? I'm passing the literal directly. I'm passing the literal directly. So 4 is my literal. So this is what I will call it as a literal. I'm passing the literal directly. By passing the literal, so I'm calling the function. That is the first one that you should remember. What is the second one that I have? So guys, passing the variable as an argument. Passing the variable as an argument. There is a difference between variable and literal. That is what you need to understand. Suppose if I write a is equal to 4. So this is what I will call it as a literal. So this is what I will call it as a variable. So that is what you need to understand. So here in the second one, so I'm passing the variable as a argument. I'm passing the variable as a argument. So what is that I'm trying to do? So guys, I'm just storing this 10 in num. So I'm passing this num. So instead of passing the 10 directly, I'm passing the variable. So that is the second way that you can invoke the function. What is the third one that I have? Guys, taking the input and passing the input as a argument in the function call. I'm taking the input from the user and I'm storing it in a variable, and then I'm passing that variable inside the function call as an argument, and then I'm calling the function. Let's check. So guys, This is a statement that all of you know. How do I read the values from the user? So user will enter the value and it will be stored in the variable mynum, and I will be storing the value in the mynum. So that mynum will be passed. Mynum will be passed as an argument. So inside the function call. This is the third one that you should remember. What is the fourth one that I have? Function call inside another statement. Function call inside the another statement. What is the another statement? Guys, I am using the print statement here. I'm using the print statement. So inside the print statement, I'm calling the function. Inside the print statement, I'm calling the function. Is it possible, sir? So can I call the function inside the print statement? Yes, you can call. To call the function inside the print statement, this is the syntax, dear students. So using the function call inside the expression, can I call it inside the expression? Yes, of course, you can call the function inside the expressions. So guys, you have the expression something like this. Here you can observe 2 into cube of 6. So whatever the value the function is going to return, so it will be written to this particular statement and it will be multiplied by 2. That is what you need to understand. You can also call in the expression. So I will just give you the recap. What is the first one that we have? So you are passing the literal directly and you're passing the variable and you're taking the input from the user and you're passing that as a variable in the third one. And the fourth one that we have, you are calling the function inside the print statement, and also you are calling the statement, and you are also calling the function call in the expression, my dear students. These are all the 5 different ways that you can call the functions. Let's go to the next one. So what is the next one that I have? Python function types. How many different types of functions that I have? What is the first one that I have? The first one that I have is built-in functions. Dear students, the first one is length, type, int, input. All these functions, I will call it as a built-in function. Sir, why do you call it as a built-in function, sir? Because I am not using any import statements to use these functions, dear students. You need to understand, I'm not using any import statement to use these functions directly. I'm using all these functions in my program, which is already predefined and stored. That is why I will call it as a built-in functions. What is the next one that I have? Functions defined in modules. Dear students, for example, you would have used a function called math. So if you want to use any of the functions which is defined inside the module called math, for example, you have power. So you have power, okay, right? You have square, or you have sine. You have sine, or you have cos. You have square root, right? So all these functions are stored inside the module called math. If you want to use all these functions, you have to use the import statement, that is import math. So such functions, I will call it as a functions defined inside the modules. Functions defined inside the modules. That is what the second one that we have. The last one is what we are calling it as a user defined functions. That is what we are just discussing. How do we define our own functions? My dear students, how many different types of functions we have? We have 3. What are the first one? Built-in functions. The functions which is already predefined and which you don't have to have any import statements to use such functions. That is what I will call it as a built-in functions. What is the second one that we have? The functions defined inside the modules. For example, you have math. If you want to use any of the function with respect to the math, so you have to import the math module and then you have to use the functions. And then the last one is user defined functions. User can create their own functions. So that is what they will call it as a user defined functions. What is the next one that we have? Guys, the structure of Python programs. That is what you need to understand. Listen to me carefully. So I have the function. This is what I will call it as a function. Guys, I have the function number 1, function number 2, function number 3. It goes on. It depends on my program, how many functions that I should have. So guys, all my functions will be from the beginning. After that, I will have my normal statements. These statements is what I will call it as a top level statements. These statements is what I will call it as a top level statements. Sir, can you explain in detail? So why are you placing these functions in the top of the program and other statements are below the functions? And that too, you're calling these statements as a top level statements. What is the magic here? My dear students, whenever the interpreter is executing your program line by line, so it will not execute the complete function. Let me imagine in my program, I have function number 1. So my interpreter will not execute the complete function. It will just execute the first line. It will just check whether all the things are correct or not. If it is correct, then it will skip the entire body of the function. It will not execute at that particular point of time. So then it will come back to the second one. It will come back to the second one. Again, it will execute the first statement, and then it will skip the rest one if it is correct. The same thing will happen for all the functions. Actual execution of the program will start from here. The execution of the program will start from here. So that is what I will call it as a top level statements. That is what I will call it as a top level statements, my dear students. So if I have any function call here, let us imagine I have called the function number 1. Then the control will go to the function number 1, and then it will execute all the statements whatever I have inside this function. So until then, it will just execute the first line. If everything is correct, then it will keep it as it is. It will move on to the next function. That's how the execution of the Python program will happen. That is what you need to remember. So let's move on to the next concept. The flow of execution. So my dear students, the flow of execution in the sense what? How exactly the statements inside the programs are getting executed is what we are trying to call the flow of execution. So what exactly the flow of execution is all about? How exactly my function is getting executed is what we are trying to understand. Imagine I have a function call. Imagine I have created a function. What is that I have created? I have created a function. So after creating a function, I have top level statements. Inside this top level statements, I have my function call. As soon as the interpreter encounters the function call, it will create one execution frame. It will create one execution frame. Imagine execution frame in the sense it is the operation theater. Okay, execution frame in the sense operation theater. Inside the execution frame, so what I will have? So I will have some internal information which is used for debugging. So I will have the internal information which is used for debugging. So what is the next one that I will have? Execution frame. I will also have the name of the function which I am trying to execute. Then after that, whatever the value that you have passed will be there inside the execution frame, and also you will have the variables which is created inside the function. The variables which is created inside the function, that is what I will call it as a local variable. I will discuss about this local variable much later. Okay, and also I will have the variables created within the function, and lastly information about the next instruction to be executed. So all these things will be stored inside the execution frame. Inside the execution frame. When I will create the execution frame? As soon as I encounter the function call. If I encounter the function call, an execution frame will be created. Inside that execution frame, all these things will be placed. All these things will be placed. Then only my execution of the function will happen. Then only my execution of the function will happen. So my dear students, imagine this execution frame is a operation theater. All these things are the requirements for my operation. All these things are the requirement for my operation. That is what you need to understand. So in this point of time. So what is the next topic that we have? Guys, we have arguments and parameters. In today's class, I will give you the clear idea between the arguments and parameters. Sir, why are you saying like this? Most of you would have exchanged these words in a different context. You would have misunderstood what is parameters and what is arguments. In the place of arguments, you would have used the word parameter. In the place of parameter, you would have used the word argument. So today, I will give you the clear idea about what is arguments and what is parameter. Let's have a quick check. So guys, what is arguments? Let's not go to the definition directly. Let's go to the program and understand what exactly argument is. So first of all, what is this multiply? Can I call this multiply as a function call? Yes, this multiply statement, whatever I have this statement, can I call this as a function call? Yes, you can call this as a function call. So inside the function call, whatever you have, dear students, can you see this? Whatever you have, this is what I will call it as a arguments. This is what I will call it as a arguments. So let us go back to the definition of the function. So if you have anything inside the header of the function, so within this parenthesis, whatever you have, this is what I will call it as a parameter. This is what I will call it as a parameter. Please note, whatever I have inside the function call, so I will call this as an argument. So whatever I have inside the function header within the parenthesis, that is what I will call it as a parameter. So this is the difference between arguments and the parameters. Let's go to the next topic. What is that I have? So guys, passing parameters. What is that I have? What are the next topic that I have? Passing the parameters. Python supports 3 types of formal arguments and parameters. Dear students, what are the first one? Positional arguments. What are the first one that I have? Positional arguments, default arguments, and keywords. It's a very important thing that you should know with respect to arguments. This is what I will be discussing in the next session, dear students. Stay tuned, share if you like this video. Please watch again and again and try to write your own functions. So till then, take care. Bye bye.